Okay, I've had a few people asking me to show them how I have my kayak set up for fishing. So as you can see, I have the Old Town Sportsman, and it is the Bigwater PDL 132. That's the model that I have. So we'll start up here at the front. Have a nice watertight storage here, and in that storage you'll see this is the battery bag. This is the battery bag right here that the battery goes in. It's suspended, hangs up there, so it won't be sitting in water if you get a little bit of water. I've never had even a drop of water in it. Here are some quick connects that I have so I can hook different things up, and I'll show you a couple things that I have hooked up as we go along. But yeah, it's a nice tight, watertight seal. It doesn't leak at all. First thing over here on this side, you see this big long white pole. That's a 10-foot PVC pole. I use that as my shallow water anchor. If I know I'm going to be fishing where there's shallow water, I can stick that down into the mud, and I'll show you when I get to the other side how I anchor it to the boat. Or if I need to, I can use the other end, use it as a push pole. So, and there's my paddle. So let's see what else. While we're over here on this side, I'll show you. Here is that's my catch board right there, the orange thing. That's how I measure fish, like for tournaments and stuff. And if you can see back there under the seat, see that black thing sticking up? When I first got it, it was a pain. This thing would always fall and lay down here and get caught in the pedals. So I bought that thing, and it's designed to hold, and it does a great job holding the catch board up. I will put a link in the description where I got that. I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Neverear Kayak Fishing. He's down in, I think, Destin, Florida. That's where I got that. Also, another thing that I got from him, let's talk about the seat here. Very, very comfortable seat. The Old Town did a great job with that. When you're pedaling, it was great. It felt like you were sitting in a recliner pedaling, and that was fine, but I wasn't comfortable with that fishing. When I'm fishing, I want to sit up a little bit more. So the same place that I bought that thing to hold the catch board up, I got these things right here. This little piece right there. This guy he has a 3D printer, and he made these. What it does is it just holds your seat up. If you can see over there on the other side, hold your seat up another inch. And that just made a huge difference. Made it much, much more comfortable for me, for fishing anyway. So, speaking of pedal drive, it is the PDL. Here is the pedal drive right here. Very, very easy to pedal. And the drive is down here, as you can see. And I mean, you can really get that thing going. I can comfortably cruise between 3 to 4 miles an hour. I've had it up a little bit over 6. According to GPS. So I'm not really doing this as a review of the kayak. Like I said, I've just had guys asking me how I have mine set up. But I will show you some of the features. Here's the guide, how you steer your rudder. As you can see back there, it's moving back and forth. And then this little knob here, if you want to tighten it down to turn, stay in one position, turn, or straight, or whatever, you can tighten that down. So, okay, moving back, here under the white PVC is the first built-in rod holder. You'll see there. It's behind the seat, facing back. So if you wanted to, you could put that in there and just pedal around and fish with it like that. Now, I added this cooler. I customized the cooler a whole bunch. Bought it real cheap at Bass Pro Shops, I think about 20 bucks for the cooler. I cut a hole in the lid of the cooler, and I cut a hole in a lid for a bucket. And then this black rubber is just some non-slip rubber stuff that we had for, I don't know what, but we had it for years. And we weren't using it, so I took it and cut it to shape and mount it on there. So as I'm fishing, all I have to do is turn around. There's the front seat. Just turn around. If I catch crappie or bluegill or whatever, if I want to keep it to eat, fill the cooler up, put some ice in there, and just drop them in there. Works slick as can be. I love it. On that cooler, I've got 3 rod holders in the front, which is right behind the seat. And then I've got 3 rod holders in the back. So that's so far 7 rods that I can hold in here. One of the rod holders in the back, you'll see that orange pole. That holds my safety flag and light for fishing at night. So want to be seen in a kayak. I've seen some videos where guys have been hit or nearly hit while in a kayak because they weren't seen. And I personally have a friend who's no longer with us, but he was in a boating accident several years ago. He was in a john boat in a small lake here in central Illinois and got hit and lost both his legs. The guy came around the corner and didn't see him. Okay, here's another built-in rod holder on this side. That's holding my net. Now here's my anchor system. It starts back here in the back. It's all these ropes that you're seeing and goes all the way up to the front. So when you're fishing in a kayak, and if you want to anchor, you don't want to anchor here on the side. If you anchor here and a big wave comes in from the side, it can swamp you or flip you. So you always want to anchor in the back or in the front. That's what this anchor trolley here does. You can tighten and loosen that, but then so you can slide this rope. Okay, so then what I do, here's my anchor that I use, and maybe I'll do another video on the anchor. So I can use this anchor and clip the anchor right up to this ring, or my catch pole, I can slip right through this ring and just stick the catch pole down in the mud right below. So I pull this up to the front, put the anchor on here, drop it down to however deep I need it, and then I slide it either up to the front or to the back, depending on which way I want to face with the wind or the current. So I get this slit up there, and then so this blue rope, this is what my anchor or catch pole is attached to. Okay, this blue rope comes back here, and it is in this thing right here. This is I can't remember what it's called, but I'll try and find it, put a link to that too. But it's it holds your anchor securely. I mean, if you pull, that will not come. But if you're ever anchored and a huge boat comes by, makes a huge wave, or maybe you need to detach quick to chase a fish, this is a quick release. Just pull that out and let it go. So you let it go, this thing will just slide right out, and then when you go chase your fish or wait till the waves are safely passed after you've negotiated through them, and you'll come back and the float will be floating there with your anchor on the other end waiting for you. So just kind of a safety feature there. So, but anyway, this is my anchor that I told you about. Let's go ahead and talk about the anchor quick, I guess. So this anchor, I can let it out. You know, it's easier with 2 hands, but I can let it out. I've got loops in there, so I can hook it. I've got some hooks there in the kayak. I can hook it at whatever depth I want. So with that hook right there. But here's the deal. So I've got that rope hooked up to this double swivel. And this double swivel is hooked to another rope that is hooked to the bottom of the anchor. And then all of that is held together at the top of the anchor with one little zip tie that is easy to break away. So what happens when this anchor is out, let's get the anchor out here. I wasn't going to do a video on the anchor, but I guess I will. So when this anchor is out, it's like that. Now it's going to hold you. See how it's grabbing into the dirt? It'll hold you. But suppose you get hung up on a log or something and you can't get it free like this. So you're pulling and pulling and pulling and you can't get it free. So all you got to do is get directly over it. And I doubt I'm going to be able to do it with one hand here but you get directly over it. Yep, I did. So you pop that zip tie. And once you pop that zip tie, now you can pull that anchor. It'll come right over your log. So you're ready to go. Otherwise, I mean, I know of guys who've gotten their anchor stuck and couldn't get them, ended up having to cut the rope and lost their anchor. So anyway, carry a bunch of zip ties with me in my life jacket. All I gotta do is put another zip tie on there now and I'm ready to go. So onward, back to the kayak here. This is forward facing rod holder. This is on the right hand side of the kayak. I'm a right-hander fisherman. Unfortunately, when I started tournament fishing years ago, I talked to a professional who told me if you're a right-handed fisherman, you need to use a left-hand crank reel. And I am so glad he taught me that. It makes so much sense. So I cast with my right hand, I start reeling immediately with my left hand. Don't have to switch hands. Then I can land a fish with my left hand and set my rod down on the right side in this rod holder. Anyway, enough of that. On to my fish finder. I have a Garmin EcoMap 73 Plus. So it's a 7-inch. And I mean, I could see it okay, but it was hard to see in bright, direct sunlight with sunglasses on. So I saw some shades for it that were something looked similar to this. They were like 45, 50 bucks. So for under 10 bucks, I bought a sheet of Kydex, melted it, formed it, shaped it, cut it, whatever it took, and made my own shade right there. So I can use the fish finder. What else? Okay, so that's one thing that I have hooked up to my battery. Didn't realize it at the time because I did this before I had the fish finder. But the fish finder will tell me the voltage of my batteries. But I installed a voltage meter. This is right up just by my pedals there. So I can see how many volts I have on my battery, so I know when I'm getting low. But it's not critical. I've got the pedal drive. The only thing that's critical is, it works the fish finder. So, and then under my seat, it's in an inconvenient place, but it's basically because I hardly ever use it. So the seat folds up like that. But under the seat, I've got hookups here for 12 volt, like a cigarette lighter, and I think there's 4 of them all together, but if I can get one of them open. Hookups, so if I need to, I can charge my cell phone or whatever. I mean, who knows what I might need in the future. But so that's the other thing that I have electric hooked up to. That's the only thing I have on there now. I haven't put any lights on yet. I've thought about putting navigational lights on the front and maybe a couple LEDs inside so you can see inside the kayak when fishing at night. I have been out fishing at night and it's a blast. Just anything fishing from the kayak is so much fun. You're just right there, right at the water. So, but that's basically it. I think I've shown you about everything. It's a fun kayak. So far we love the Old Town line. Oh, one other thing. One thing I was a little disappointed in, the hull just seems so soft. We'd only used it like 3 times, and I'd never dragged it. But just from beaching it, like to carry it to the truck, or we've got carts that we can wheel them around on, the hull was terribly scratched up. And then all the way along the back, it was scratched up also. So I got a keel guard. I think it's called Pier Guard, P-E-R-E. I don't know how much I'm going to like it or how long it's going to last. It's new. Haven't used it yet, but I put it all the way along on the bottom of the kayak. That's all that black you can see. And I got it all the way to the back to protect it. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But anyway, that's it. That's the way I have my kayak set up. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share it with your friends.